Today I want to talk about C Sharp UTF-8 string literals that are newly supported in C Sharp and the library called System.Text.Json. To do that, I have written some code, but basically I'm going to utilize an API, publicly available API that you can call, and it will basically return some data. And you can see what I have done is it says I call JSON placeholder type uh, code.com users1, so it returns some sample data for user1. So that's the API we will call from our code. So let me just show you what I'm doing. So I've created an HTTP client. I put in the base address as this, and then I'm saying client.get from JSON async, and you would notice that this code get from JSON async is a standard Microsoft code. It's probably provided in system.net.http JSON, and for JSON I'm using System.Text.Json. This is a library from Microsoft as opposed to something you might use in the past called Newtonsoft. So you see the Newtonsoft library is being compared against System.Text.Json. So I want to show you why you might want to use System.Text.Json. Somebody has done profiling on using Newtonsoft and Microsoft System.Text.Json, and they have found that Microsoft library is actually much more faster. You can see 7.036 milliseconds. If you want to read about it, on my video I have already have these links, so you can go and read more about it. But essentially I'm stating that System.Text.Json is a pretty performant library, and you might want to consider using that in your new code. So anyway, so let's say what we do is we will get the user and convert from this to a strongly typed is very easy. You just call client.get from JSON async, and you will get the user, and I'm just printing the user information on the console. And this is also just to show that you can also do the post. So you can say client.post, and you can post it to the user. The library, the API allows that, and you can check for the error. So that's not really that pertinent here. After all this is doing, what I'm doing is once I have this user object, I'm using the system text JSON serializer, and give it the object, and I'm giving some serializer option that says write indented is equal to true, and just write this object onto the string. So if I clear everything and run this program, you'll see what we would have expected. The ID was 1, name is this, because you can see I'm printing ID, name, username, email, and all those. And after that, I have printed that object in a pretty format. So what I'm going to show here is I'm going to copy this printed object and create a string literal. So you can create a str1 just to separate it from what we had before. And to use a string literal, the best way is to use this way of doing triple quotes. So see, I'm using a triple quote, and the advantage is I don't have to use backslashes and escape characters when I have this apostrophe in there. So you can use this triple quote method. And in addition to that, I want to use this new UTF-8 string literal. So what you can do is, if you have string literals in your code, they are allocated on the stack and not on the heap. And you can just take the string literal, any string literal, and add this ut8, and it will convert it into a read-only span, which is in memory, a struct, and it provides a reference to it, and is very useful. And the reason I'm showing you this is that for the second part, if you look at it, I can have this string literal in UTF-8, and it is being deserialized, and I'm going to deserialize into an object of type user, and I can do that. See, because this deserialize is also providing an overload which can take a read-only span, and then I'm going to just write this object to the name to show that it is working correctly. And it should, let me just run this again, and you can see that this object was deserialized properly, and I'm printing just object.name, which is here. So the main advantage is in the System.Text.Json, since it's a UTF-8 string, it has an overload to deserialize into an object, and this is very efficient. And I have actually given you another link that in the old way of doing things, if you had to convert, if you had strings anywhere in your Microsoft libraries or anything, they are all UTF-18, UTF-16 strings, and they have to be converted into UTF-8 when you're dealing with some of the web, because you can see the language of the web is UTF-8. So you had some conversions there and you had to deal with it. But anyway, if you had a string in UTF-16, you could get UTF-8 bytes using this method. In the new way, you can just say hello world U8. And as you can see, this old syntax, the mean was taking this much second, the new syntax is very fast. So if you have a use case where you are dealing with UTF-8 strings and you want to use to make objects using System.Text.Json, this is a very efficient way, and this library System.Text.Json is very useful, and you should consider using this because it's performance compliant as well. So thank you for watching this short screencast, and you have a great day.